Good morning and welcome to Algebra 2 Flipped Video number 1. Today in lesson 1.1 and 1.2 we will talk about some algebra principles that I thought were best to cover in a flipped video because they're more simple concepts and we can use our time more wisely in class to cover more difficult concepts. At times, I will cover very difficult concepts on flipped video so that it's not the first time that you see them in class. All right, so let's get right into lesson 1.1. We're talking about the properties of math. The first property I wanted to talk about is the commutative property. And it simply states the commutative property of addition that 3 plus 4 is equivalent to 4 plus 3. Of multiplication, 3 times 4 is equivalent to 4 times 3. The associative property of math, of addition in math, is 3 plus 4 plus 5 in parentheses is equivalent to 3 plus 4 in parentheses plus 5. Of multiplication, 5 times 7 times 9 in parentheses is equivalent to 5 times 7 in parentheses times 9. The identity property of addition simply states that 3 plus 0 is equal to 3, and 0 plus 3 is also equal to 3. Okay? The identity property of multiplication says 4 times 1 equals 4, and 1 times 4 equals 4. Okay? All right. The inverse property in math of addition says 5 plus negative 5 is 0. Okay, those two cancel one another out. Of multiplication, I use letters here instead, and I'll explain to you why it'll become more clear afterwards. The inverse property of multiplication states that a times 1 over a is equal to 1. However, the reason I use letters is because it just makes this concept clearer. A cannot be 0, because if a were 0, you'd have a 0 at the bottom of a fraction. Whenever you have a fraction with a 0 at the bottom, it's considered undefined. It cannot be solved. Okay? E, the distributive property of multiplication over division. Okay, simply states that a times, in parentheses, b plus c is equivalent to a times b plus a times c. You simply are distributing this a across this parentheses, okay? All right, so these properties are going to be seen over and over and over again. They're one of those things that you don't even realize you're doing them. You may not know the names of them, but you're using these properties all the time, okay? Now let's talk for a moment about what I call the vocabulary of math. Okay, this is section 1.2. In an addition problem, if you have 5 plus 7 equals 12, the 5 and the 7 are called your add-ins, and the 12 is called your sum. In a subtraction problem, 7 minus 5 equals 2. Your minuend is 7. Your subtractand is 5, and the difference, which is your solution, is 2. Okay, so your answer is called your difference in a subtraction problem. In a multiplication problem, 5 times 7 equals 35. Your factors of 35 are 5 and 7. Very important to understand when we get into factoring, okay? Your factors are what were the numbers used to get your product. Okay, the answer is called your product. In division, when you're dividing a number by another number, the number that's being divided is called your dividend, and your divisor is your number that's doing the dividing, and your quotient is your answer. Notice that I did not say your larger number is your dividend and your smaller number is your divisor, because that's not always true. What if I were dividing 7 by 2? What if I were dividing 2 by 7? Okay? So you can't say the larger number is your dividend and your smaller number is your divisor. What you have to say is the number that's being divided is your dividend. You see the same thing here. I can't say in this problem that my minuend is always going to be larger, because my minuend could have been 2 here, which would have made my difference a negative problem. I mean a negative answer, okay? All right. So in exponents, you have your base, which is your number down here, and this is your exponent, okay? This is a concept that's not stated clearly in this chapter in your book. However, I thought it was important to bring it up, okay? If you have a problem that says 3x plus 2x plus 5x, this is called an expression, and it cannot be